my name is Melissa van Dijk, and in today's video I'm going to show you how you can layer your cleanser, hyaluronic acid serum and sunscreen. Now, hyaluronic acid is an hydrating ingredient. It can be used on all skin types daily in the morning and or evening. It helps to hydrate the skin and plumps the skin, and due to the plumbing effect, it helps to reduce the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles, although this is only a temporary effect while using the product. Now, I want to keep my main focus on a morning skincare routine. However, I'm going to quickly cover an evening routine as well so that you can see it visually, as I always like to prepare them in my PowerPoint slides. And so I want to get started with, first of all, the morning skincare routine, starting off with the cleansing step. So this can be a gentle cleanser suitable for your skin type or an exfoliating acid cleanser suitable for your skin concerns. Hyaluronic acid is not an exfoliant, therefore you can work with any cleanser. So go ahead, wash your face, rinse it off, pat the skin dry. Then move on to your hyaluronic acid serum. Apply it to the skin, leave it on the skin, there's no need to wash it off. And then follow with your sunscreen afterwards. Apply it evenly 10 to 15 minutes before sun exposure. So this would be an example of a morning skincare routine. You just saw certain products that I can recommend that I've picked to give you the example. However, of course, if you have something else like a different cleanser, different hyaluronic acid serum or sunscreen, feel free to replace it. It won't change the step. As for an evening skincare routine, it can look pretty much the same if you like to, and this is what you primarily want to use. Well, then go ahead, just wash your face with your cleanser and then move on to your hyaluronic acid serum, skipping the sunscreen because sunscreen is only needed during daytime when being exposed to the sun. So it's fine to use basically your hyaluronic acid on its own. However, if you feel like it's not hydrating enough, depending on how dry your skin may be, you can go ahead and, as an optional step, work with an oil and or moisturizer afterwards. Now, if you want to see a guide on how you can do this specific application, I have a video for you in the top right corner. Now, with the sunscreen that I've picked as an example that I do have right here as well, that one removes pretty easy, so you can easily remove it with your usual regular cleanser. However, depending on the sunscreen that you may have, or even the makeup that you have worn throughout the day and you aren't able to properly remove it with your usual cleanser, you can go ahead and do a double cleanse. Then, first of all, work with micellar water, an oil or balm cleanser as your first cleansing step, and then move on to your regular cleanser and then do the application of your hyaluronic acid. And then there you have it. If you want to go over those example skincare routines again in your own time and you want to learn more about certain skincare tips as well, the order of application and the products that I have chosen, you will find everything in the description box down below, as I'm not sharing this in my videos. You can even download the PowerPoint slides. Now, the problem that often occurs when, basically in general, working with hyaluronic acid is the pilling issue. Therefore, I want to keep my focus on a morning skincare routine so that you can see the demonstration, you can see the tips that I'd like to share with you in between, so that you have a better understanding of how you can reduce the likelihood of experiencing it, or if you're currently experiencing it, it is quite annoying, I know this, then you know how you can stop it. And so based on that, I now want to get into the entire application. So first of all, starting off with the cleansing step. So I'm going to go with morning skincare routine. I have two examples of gentle cleansers right here, but again, if you have an exfoliating acid cleanser, just go ahead and replace it. There's no problem with this at all. Hyaluronic acid should not be confused with an exfoliant. It is not going to exfoliate your skin. It hydrates the skin. Therefore, it can be used along with any other skincare products. So, starting off with the cleansing step, I'm going to use Cetaphil's Daily Facial Cleanser. It's great for a combination to oily skin. That's more suitable for my skin type. If you have a drier skin type, go ahead and replace it. Read on the back of the packaging on how you should use your cleanser, since the directions can change. Do you apply it on dry skin or on wet skin? You can use your cleanser above the sink when washing your face, or take the cleanser with you in the shower. Either way is fine. Just make sure to properly remove it from the skin. So in this example, it is advised to apply it on wet skin. I'm going to use lukewarm water to warm water to wet my face, neck and hands so that it feels comfortable on the skin. Then I'm going to use about 1 to 2 pumps on the palm of my hand, which is about a coin size amount. And I'm going to massage it all over my face and neck for about 30 seconds to a minute. Please make sure to not get it into your eyes nor into your mouth. If that's the case, rinse it with water. and then I'm going to rinse it off, most of it off. In between, I always like to work with a soft and fresh washcloth, mainly when I'm doing this above the sink, because my hands alone aren't able to properly remove the last residue of the cleanser if you're going to do this in the morning. As for the evening, they aren't able to properly remove any residue of cleanser, sunscreen and makeup. Therefore, those soft and fresh washcloths, they are also known as makeup cloths. They are very nice and help to remove it from the skin surface so that there's no residue left. And so this is what I'm going to use in between. So let's go ahead and get started. So now go ahead and take a fresh towel and remove the water drops from the skin surface. So once you're done with your cleansing step, you can immediately move on to the application of your hyaluronic acid serum. However, it is important that you're going to remove the water drops from the skin surface with a towel before you're doing the application of your hyaluronic acid serum. Because while washing your face, your skin is going to absorb some water, and then once you're done with rinsing everything off, what's left on the skin surface is the excess water. And so you need to remove the excess water from the skin before doing the application of the hyaluronic acid serum. And in that specific case, damp skin does not look any different than dry skin. In fact, your skin will remain damp for about 30 minutes, which you won't see on the skin surface because it has already absorbed some water. And so this is an important tip that I can share with you before you're going to apply your hyaluronic acid afterwards, because when still having the water drops on the skin surface, and then you're going to do the application of your hyaluronic acid serum, you're going to smear it around with the water, and your hyaluronic acid serum cannot absorb more water. It is already saturated in the formulation itself. So all what you're going to create is like a weird consistency, and once it starts to dry, it feels dry and tight on the skin. And then when even using more hyaluronic acid than you actually need, plus layering other skincare products on top, this is what causes the pilling. So therefore, this is an important point to do in between before you're going to apply it. So my skin is currently damp. I have removed the excess water from the skin surface. And now I'm going to move on to the application of the hyaluronic acid serum. I have 3 examples right here. If you should have a different one, go ahead and exchange it. You will find a general guide in the description box down below. If you have one with a pump, go with 1 to 2 pumps. If you have one that has a thinner texture, go with about 2 to 3 drops. If that shouldn't be enough, work with a couple of drops more. If you have one with a thicker, stickier texture, I recommend going with 2 to 3 drops, as otherwise it may be too much for the skin. So I'm going to use the Inkey List Hyaluronic Acid Serum. That one has a bit more of a thinner, runnier texture compared to the one from The Ordinary. So you can go ahead, start off with 3, and then you can adjust it accordingly depending on where you all want to blend it. Just make sure that you can evenly and properly blend your hyaluronic acid product over your face and neck, and it should be able to absorb into the skin. You do not need like a very smeary, like thick layer on the skin surface, because this is going to cause more problems than it's actually needed. So rub your hands together. You can even apply the drops immediately to the face and then start blending it all over. So Now your hyaluronic acid serum should usually be like able to absorb into the skin pretty quickly. However, as a general guide, you can always wait between 30 seconds to a minute in between before moving on to the next step. Now, if this is going to be your evening skincare routine, it's fine to stop right here, and then you just have your hyaluronic acid as the last step. And if you still should feel the need, you can work with an oil and or moisturizer afterwards. However, those would be optional steps. Now I'm going to keep my main focus on a morning skincare routine. So now that I have applied the hyaluronic acid serum, I'm going to move on to the sunscreen. One great sunscreen that I can recommend is COSRX Aloe Soothing Sunscreen with SPF 50. This is just one example. However, I like that one really much. And you need to use about half a teaspoon for your face and neck, including your ears, and about a teaspoon if you're going to like broadly include your décolletage as well. Otherwise, you won't end up with like enough to evenly cover the area. Now, of course, this is just an overall general guide. Depending on the sunscreen that you may have, like texture-wise and how it blends, you can go with a little bit less or a little bit more. Just make sure that you're able to evenly cover the entire area that's being exposed to the sun. I'm going to keep my main focus now towards my face, ears, and even neck. So I'm going to use about half a teaspoon. I have half a teaspoon right here that I'm going to fill up so that you can see the amount. So about that much, more or less, and then evenly apply it all over. Now, if you had the right amount of hyaluronic acid and you have applied it to like the real meaning to damp skin, like without leaving the water drops on the skin surface, now it shouldn't cause any pilling when layering other products on top of your hyaluronic acid serum. So start off by first of all evenly cover most of it, and then you're going to blend it properly all over your face, neck, and depending on how much exposure you have on your décolletage as well. Now you can use your sunscreen around the eyes. Just make sure to not get it into your eyes, nor into your mouth. If that's the case, rinse it with water. If it does not irritate your eyes, this depends on the sunscreen. The sunscreen that I'm currently using, I can use it around my eyes without any issues. It does not sting or burn, or my eyes are not going to tear up, therefore I can use it. However, if your sunscreen should irritate your eyes, then please avoid the eye area and even like either look into a different sunscreen that you can use around the eyes, or if you really have like a loads of sun exposure, I recommend wearing sunglasses to protect this part as well. So, and once you're done with the application of your sunscreen, you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. And here you can see an example that I do not experience any pilling. The sunscreen layers properly on top. I do not have any like weird flakes on my fingertips. And this is primarily based on the tips that I have shared with you to do in between, so that you're making sure that it layers properly after another. And so this is what I primarily want to share with you, so that you can improve this layering. If you should have like problems with pilling, that you then know how you can like correct it so that it's not going to happen anymore. Now I do hope that you enjoyed this video, that you find it helpful. If you did so, please don't forget to give the thumbs up as well as share it. And if you now want to learn more about the different skincare applications, I'm going to leave some of the videos at the end of this video, but you will find more about it on my YouTube channel. And don't forget, if you enjoyed the PowerPoint slides, you want to read through it in your own time, you will find it in the description box down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon in the next one. Happy skincaring. Bye!